Hey guys, this is the coach and I'm back here. I did a predictions video where I broke down all the college football contenders of the preseason. And it's kind of, dead and totally wrong because this season has been in absolute insanity. So let's do a mid-season one. So recap, here we go. Here are my tier breakdowns. I got tier 1 is locks. These are 100% will make the college football playoff. I'm guaranteeing I'm locking them in. Tier 2, looking for the 3 to 4 seed. They have a great chance to make the playoffs, but probably as a higher seed. Tier 3, good but not great. Still got a good shot at the playoffs, but not a great chance. There's a lot of teams ahead of them. They need some luck and things to bounce their way, but they still are in contention. And then 4 are my long shots. These still could make the playoffs, but they need a lot of help. They need some luck. They are not on the forefront of this. And tier 5, no chance. See ya, goodbye, have a good one. So without further ado, let's get tier number 5 will start us off, and we got a bunch. You got Tennessee after they lost to Alabama. I'm sorry, it looks like it is over for you. North Carolina being North Carolina and coughing one up to Virginia last Saturday. I mean, what the heck, North Carolina? Everyone was so high on you, but I think you are donezo now. UCLA, good but not great team, and no chance. Notre Dame, those losses are going to come back to haunt them. USC losing to Utah. I mean, the defense is just terrible. They have no chance. Louisville, they might go to the ACC championship, but having no one on their schedule really hinders them. Tulane and Air Force are the best in the non-Power 5 and could be making a New Year's Six bowl, but they don't have a chance to play up. Iowa, with their last loss on a fair catch call, knocked themselves out, even though they really probably had no chance to begin with. And Duke, tough loss to Florida State. Played well, but with injuries to quarterback, man, it just makes things tough. So those are my no chance. All these programs will not be making the playoffs. Moving on to tier number 4, I have my long shots. These teams have a long road to go to make the playoffs, but I do like some of them, and I think some of them could be making some noise or at least cause some chaos. You have LSU, and when I look at LSU, I see a team that has 2 losses, a terrible defense, but one of the best offenses in the nation. You still have Alabama on your schedule, and if you find a way to beat Bama, you could possibly, find a way maybe to maneuver your way into sneaking yourself into a SEC championship game. That could be interesting. So I still give them a chance because you win the SEC, you got a chance. I know no 2 lost teams never made the playoff, but you win the SEC, they'll consider it. Missouri, on the other hand, is another one. I mean, you have Tennessee and Georgia left on the schedule. If you beat both of them, I don't see it happening, but if you do beat them, you get in. So you got a long shot to go. It's 2 really tough games, but you got to give them a chance because they've been playing really well and they are moving in the right direction. Oregon State is a really good team in the Pac-12. I just think there are too many teams ahead of them, but they still have Oregon, they still have Washington on the schedule, so they can make some noise and possibly cause some damage if they are able to win. Worst case scenario, these 3 teams could cause a lot of chaos. And then finally, Penn State, probably the one that could cause the most chaos. If they can beat Michigan and force that 3-way tie in the Big Ten, things could get really interesting. I don't know if it will happen, but look out for that. So those are my long shots. All right, and now we're moving on to tier 3. Wait, before we go to tier 3, we have an ad. All right, ready to talk about Rage? I'm kidding. We don't have ads. We don't have any subscribers. So please, if you like this video, you like this content, please subscribe. We need all the support we can get. All right, tier number 3, let's get into it. Good but not great. We have Ole Miss coming in here. I think they are a really, really good team. The problem is your loss to Alabama really hinders it. You need Alabama to slip up twice to get a chance at the SEC championship game. So odds aren't really that great, but I still think they could end the season, with that 1 loss and really be a contender. Oregon, I mean, after their tough loss to Washington, it's going to be a lot tougher road to make the playoff, but there's still a path. There's still a good chance they could do it. They just got to run the table in a very, very tough Pac-12 and then find themselves winning the championship game against Washington, and they could get in. Utah, on the other hand, is kind of in a similar boat. They have 1 loss. They beat USC. They found a way to scrap and claw. They have a really good defense, quarterback and offense, but we shall see what they can do going forward. I'm not trusting them. Cam Rising out for the season. It's going to make it tough, But hey, they keep finding ways to win, so I got to give them their love and put them here in tier 3. Oklahoma is the last one. I'm probably going to get some hate for putting Oklahoma here, but let's just be real here. They're not, I don't think they're a playoff caliber team. They beat Texas, but I think they just played the best game they could. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. You know, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you think I'm an idiot, but we shall see what they can do. I just see them losing to Texas and kind of possibly losing to another team. They didn't play great against UCF, and I would not be surprised in the next couple weeks if they cough up a game and lose their chance at the college football playoff. All right, moving on to tier number 2, we have our guys looking for the 3 and 4 seeds. These teams are good, but they're missing a thing, or they have a big loss, or they don't have any key wins, so I got them at tier 3, or maybe just the rest of their schedule. I'll explain later. But first up, we got Alabama. Alabama, man, their offense has not been the same as it has in the last couple years, just not getting the same firepower. The defense is still one of the best in the country. They have key wins against Ole Miss and Tennessee, which are really going to help build the resume, but that key loss to Texas still hurts, and they got one big game left with LSU. The goal for them is they got to get to the SEC championship game and win. That is their only way and only path to the playoff, but I still think it's a good possibility. Next up, we have Texas, who kind of stubbed their toe against Oklahoma, and that really hurts, but they do have the key win against Alabama. The only problem is they don't really have any big marquee games left, so they kind of got to hope for teams to lose, which there will be some losses. It happens. It's college football, especially this season of college football. So they just kind of bide their time and hopefully win the Big 12, and that's their path towards a college football playoff appearance. I still like their chances. I think they're better than Oklahoma. I think that was more of a fluke rather than the norm. So we shall see with Texas. Next up, we have Ohio State. Most people are like, wait, what? Why is Ohio State in here? Well, they have one of the best defenses in the country. They got the win against Penn State, win against Notre Dame. My one fear and my one critique, though, for Ohio State is I just don't know if they can beat Michigan. They've lost in the last 2 years, and until they do, I'm just not trusting them. And because that game's so big and it's so tough, I'm going to leave them in this one. If they win out, of course, they're going to be a lock, but I just don't know if I trust it with Michigan. Next one after that we have is Michigan themselves, and I just don't know if I can trust them as well. They have the number 1 defense in the country. They play great defense. They don't give up any points when it comes to that. They don't have any key wins. They haven't played anyone yet, so I'm waiting for that Penn State game, Ohio State game to really see who they are, and until I see that, I just can't put them in as a lock because I don't know who I have. Yes, they're beating up on the bad teams, but what are they going to do when they play a Penn State or Ohio State? And until then, I think this is the perfect spot for them because you got to prove to me you deserve to be into title contention, because the last time you played someone in the playoffs, you lost to TCU, which you shouldn't have. So I'm going to put them there. Fair, not fair, I don't care. That's where they go. And the last team is Washington. And Washington comes in on a huge win against Oregon, but a terrible game against Arizona State. I don't know what the heck happened. They looked awful. They looked atrocious. But luckily, they are still undefeated. They still won. So they have momentum still on their side. They got to win the Pac-12. They got some really tough games. I think they're going to slip up once, but they still have a really good chance to win the Pac-12, and I still think a one-loss Washington gets into the college football playoff unless they lose to Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game and they kind of get bumped. But as long as they win the Pac-12, they can slip up once. I think they are going to slip up once, but I still think they're one of the best teams in the country and should make the playoffs. All right, moving on to my Tier 1 locks, and I got FSU. Really, honestly, the only reason I'm putting FSU on the list is they don't really have any big, true contenders left. They have Miami. That's kind of their only big game, and really, is Miami that great? I don't think so, but they could slip up to Miami. But I think they have the easiest schedule. I think they should easily win the ACC. There's not really any other team that should compete with them in the ACC, so I see them winning it and going to the playoffs, so that's why I have them as a lock. And my second lock is Georgia. I know they don't have any key wins. I know they have a brutal schedule with Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee left, which they could slip up, but I still think they're the best team in the SEC, and I still think they're going to the SEC championship game, so I have them as a lock. I really think if they make the SEC championship game and lose Alabama, they still get in, so I have them as a lock, and we shall see.